Hello, friends, and welcome to Sleep Tight Stories. Bernice is hiding in her room when Papa Bear comes in to say goodnight. Papa Bear finds her when she starts giggling, and they settle down for a story. In this story, Boo Boo and Kai Kai are on a short break from school, and they are trying to decide what they'd like to do. Kai Kai's stomach starts growling, and they decide to start the day off with some treats. Boo Boo and Kai Kai take a day off. Bernice hid under the blankets in her bed, trying to hide from Papa Bear as he walked into her bedroom to tell her a story. "I guess Little Bear must be on a trip somewhere tonight," Papa Bear said as he pretended to look around the room. "Maybe she took a trip in a hot air balloon with Gertrude and Bobby to explore Alaska or the Yukon, or maybe the Himalayas." Papa Bear let out a great big yawn and said, "Ugh. Well, it's bedtime for me. I best go off to bed." Bernice let out a giggle. "I didn't go for a ride in a hot air balloon, Papa. At least not before you tell me a story," Bernice said quietly from under her blankets. Papa Bear gently pulled back the covers and said, "I didn't see you under there, Little Bear. You certainly are good at hiding." "Yeah, I think so," Bernice replied. "It's that time again, Papa." "Time for a ride in a hot air balloon?" he yawned. "No, I think I would rather fly on the back of a dragon, like Boo Boo. Or maybe in an airplane if there were no dragons available." "Maybe we can fly on an airplane someday soon," Papa Bear said. "That sounds like a great idea, Papa. Could you tell me a story first? I don't want to miss hearing a story." "A story before we fly on the plane, or before you go to sleep tonight?" "How about tonight? That is, if you have energy left. Mama said you might be out of energy today." "I always have enough energy to tell you a story," said her papa, as he adjusted the blankets on her bed. "Are you comfy and warm?" "Yes, Papa." "How about Twigga, Wolfie, and Madeline? Are they ready for a story?" "Let me check." "They say they are." "Good. Now close your eyes, Little Bear. This time, I will tell you a story about our friends Boo Boo and Kai Kai." So Bernice cuddled with Twigga, Wolfie, and Madeline and closed her eyes. "Love you, Papa," whispered Bernice. "Love you too, Little Bear." Once upon a time, in a world full of magic and fun, there lived a brave little bear named Boo Boo. She lived in a large castle at the edge of a mystical forest. In this forest were unicorns, fairies, gnomes, and all manner of insects, birds, and animals. It was a wonderful place. Her best friend was a young dragon called Kai Kai, and they liked to play as much as they could. The kingdom they lived in was full of people who lived in the meadows, those who lived in the hills, and those who lived in the forest, and they all lived in harmony. On this day, Boo Boo and Kai Kai were making plans for the day in the castle garden. It was a beautiful sunny day, and they both had just finished a long period of study, exams, and for Boo Boo, a couple of running races. After taking a drink of tea, Boo Boo said, "What a relief it is to have a break from school. I've had so many tests and exams, and I think my body is still sore from last week's race." "You looked great in the race, and almost got a PB, Kai Kai said. My school is out for a few months, so I am free, except for all the things that my mom wants me to do. I wish I could go to your school. You dragons have it easier than us bears. You could enroll, but you would have to learn to breathe fire and fly, Kai Kai laughed. Is that all? Boo Boo replied, laughing. So, since we both have some time off, what should we do today? I think Bluebell is still out on the plains, and our fairy friends are still hard at work working spells. So it's just you and I today. Kai Kai's belly made a gurgling noise. I think we should go and enjoy some treats today. We've earned some sweet treats after all our hard work. Are you making this decision, or is it the sound from your stomach? Ha, I'm always hungry, but I feel like having some chocolate, which isn't very filling. Do you want to start with a treat of chocolate and maybe some ice cream? Kai Kai asked. Sounds like a good start to a short vacation. Why don't you hop on, and I'll take you to a special place we haven't enjoyed yet. As Boo Boo hopped on Kai Kai's back and got comfortable, Kai Kai continued. There is a small village in the mystical forest famous for making sweet treats, especially chocolate. There are a number of stores there that I have yet to visit. Kai Kai spread his wings and took to the air, and Boo Boo felt the familiar excitement as he went higher and higher in the sky. At first, the sound of Kai Kai's wings beating against the air was very loud, but as he started to glide, the sound of his wings became very relaxing. Looking down, Boo Boo saw the world shrinking as they climbed up and up toward the clouds. The trees, people, and creatures of the mystical forest became small and tiny. Boo Boo always felt so free when she flew with Kai Kai. It was a lot of fun. As the sounds of the rushing air and the flapping of his wings lessened, Boo Boo said, I remember hearing about this village. I don't remember its proper name, but I know one of the stores was Cocoa Fairy. My father said there was a fairy who lived there named Lila. It's unusual for fairies to be around so many sweets, Kai Kai said. I remember my father saying that the area was full of magical trees that almost compelled you to eat too much chocolate, and that some of the chocolate treats in the village were magical. That sounds great, laughed Kai Kai. Could we plant one of those trees in your garden? Oh, there's the village below. They landed at a small shop surrounded by large toadstools that served as a place to sit. They were too small for Kai Kai, of course, but just the perfect height for Boo Boo. When the dust settled, a young silver fox approached, wearing an apron and carrying a tray of drinks and snacks. Its fur glowed in the sunlight, and its eyes looked a deep shade of green that seemed to shine with intelligence and magic. It moved gracefully, almost as if it was dancing. Good morning, friends, the silver fox said. Here are some treats to get you started. This jug contains a magical chocolate drink, while these cookies are made with chocolate from that tree you see over at the edge of our garden. I'll return with a proper bowl for you, Mr. Dragon. While waiting for the fox to return, Boo Boo and Kai Kai sat and admired all the bright colors and lush greenery surrounding them. The air was filled with the sweet aroma of chocolate that must have been coming from the trees, making Kai Kai's stomach gurgle even more. The chocolate trees had smooth trunks and branches made entirely of chocolate. The leaves were a deep green color and looked like they were also made of chocolate. They weren't alone in the garden. There were fluttering butterflies, buzzing bees, and chirping birds. A fairy or two could be seen casting spells, and a couple gnomes enjoyed some drinks while they read from thick books. The silver fox returned with a large bowl for Kai and even more baked goods. "I thought this shop was owned by a fairy," Boo Boo asked. "Oh, you mean Lila?" "No, she is very famous in our village, but doesn't run any of the shops here." The previous owners were people from the coast, very famous bakers, who were drawn to our magical part of the mystical forest. They have retired back to their hometown and left the shop to my family to continue. We have all their original recipes. I hope you enjoy the treats I brought for you." "Thank you," Boo Boo said. With his mouth full of food, Kai mumbled, "Yes, thank you. These are very tasty." Kai and Boo Boo sat and ate for about an hour. Each bite they took was full of the rich and intense flavor of the chocolate, infused with magical properties. "Wow, I am full," Boo Boo said, almost like she had difficulty speaking. "I can't believe we haven't been here before. And despite all the activity, it's as quiet as the castle garden." Kai nodded, his eyes glazed over from all the chocolate. "I don't mean to rush you, but I'm afraid I might fall into a deep nap if I don't fly now. I can go now if you like, if I can move after eating all those treats." Boo Boo slowly got up and walked over to Kai, who was sitting ready for Boo Boo to climb on his back. She climbed on, grabbing Kai's rough and warm scales to avoid falling off. "So, where are we off to now?" Boo Boo asked. "How about we head to the town of Knots?" Kai said. "Oh, yes. I haven't been there since I was very young. The market is full of all kinds of delicacies, not just sweets, but foods from all over the kingdom. And the market is surrounded by other restaurants as well. I heard that there is an ice cream shop that serves ice cream with different kinds of dragon candy sprinkled on top," Kai said. "Yummy." Kai unfurled his wings and prepared to take off. The ground beneath them started to rumble as Kai beat his wings, sending gusts of wind around the garden. Kai was gentle enough to not disturb the others, sitting and reading or enjoying the otherwise peaceful sounds of the forest. Once airborne, Boo Boo felt weightless as Kai banked and turned through the sky and upwards toward the clouds. Below, they could see the different shades of green from the trees of the mystical forest, the flowers, and the streams. The people and the creatures were peacefully going about their day. Flying with a dragon had many advantages, for what would take a person on foot multiple days to arrive at only took Boo Boo and Kai an hour. Pointing downward, Boo Boo said, "There is the large river that leads to the town of Knots." Looking downwards, they could see boats of various sizes, some with sails and others without, making their way to the city. The trees were thick along the river and hid many smaller streams and brooks that fed into it. "There is the town center," Kai said, "and the market," Boo Boo replied. Kai and Boo Boo swooped down from the sky and landed safely with nothing more than a thud, outside the market where a group of people gathered. As Boo Boo hopped off Kai Kai's back, they were approached by a strong-looking woman. "Hello, I'm so glad you have come. My name is Avara, and I need your help." Hearing the gentle snores from Bernice, Papa Bear decided to stop the story for now. "We can finish this story tomorrow night, little bear," he quietly whispered. And with that, Papa Bear kissed Bernice on the forehead, adjusted her blanket, turned off her lamp, and quietly whispered, "I love you, little bear. Good night." And that is the end of this part. Good night. Sleep tight.